States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Mr. Blasbar?
Here.
Mrs. Hildebrand? Mrs. Hoskins?
Here.
Mr. Jones?
Here.
Mrs. Shaw?
Here.
Joe Vento?
Here.
And Ann Etchells? Here.
Thank you. And we do have 3 out of 4, which is a quorum. If you could please call the calendar.
Tuesday, October 15th, 2019, there'll be a school committee business meeting. And Tuesday, October 29th, there's a school committee business meeting.
Thank you. So presentations and recognitions. Before I turn it over to you folks, Mrs. King, I know you mentioned you had a couple things you wanted to mention.
I would, yes. I do have a couple of recognitions. So I wanted to make sure that in all of our discussions about how great our students are and how great our teachers are and our administrators, which we all know and agree, I wanted to make sure that I recognize our support staff, our kind of our back office staff, and that's quite a few people. Our business office that's led by Steve Janelle, who's our controller, does a great job with transparency and making sure numbers are accurate and properly reported. Stephanie Rousseau is our assistant controller. She's been here about a year. Alicia Jones is our benefits coordinator. Joanne Fuller and Dina Anderson are payroll people. So thank you very much to them and that hard work. Our HR department is our HR supervisor, Deb Gardner, not to be confused with the Deb Gardner from PPS. And Amy Healy is also a big part of our HR department as well. Thank you to them. Our transportation department, which we know is not an easy position either. John Horan is our transportation supervisor, and Debbie Hancock is the dispatcher in that department. Thank you for all the hard work that you guys do. We really appreciate it. Our food service department that's led by Trish Cawley and Sue Tavares and all of the many food service personnel that we have in all the different schools. And our maintenance team, our maintenance crew is headed by Steve Tremblay, who is the facility supervisor. Dan Fish and Kevin O'Connor are foremen, and Kathy Morton is their clerk, and just a whole bunch of other guys. You know, they're the ones who, when, you know, it's snowing and we're at home shoveling our walks, they're here making sure that we can get into school, and, you know, they're here in the summer when other people are off, making sure our buildings are open, so thank you to them. Also, thank you to ABM, our custodial support staff. And although this group does not report to me, you know, I did want to thank Mike Waterman and all of his great work with the IT department, and how collaborative he is with everybody. And thank you to Sherry Briggs, who is our registrar. She's also a very integral part of the team. And Karen Nutini, who actually is superintendent's assistant. She does quite a bit for me too. So thank you to all of the back office staff and all of their hard work. We really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. I think we all know that the well-oiled machine doesn't move without everybody doing their part, and we thank all of your staff and all the people that make that happen. Because when we don't hear about what they do, that means it's all going really well.
I also would like to, we're going to report on this a little more formally later in the agenda, but you know, the athletic field is looking very good. We were able to walk on it this morning, and it looks like everything's all set to go for the game on Friday with Hendricken. So really happy about that. And there's a talk about, you know, a lot of the people that Mrs. King mentioned, you know, working very hard to coordinate for all that, and you know, as well as the construction crew that came in, and to Mrs. King for coordinating the whole darn process from beginning to end, because we were really, you know, concerned to get to be able to play this game in particular. It's against Bishop Hendricken and a couple of championship teams squaring off, so it's going to be a really nice night on Friday. And there's also going to be a thank you for a lot of people in the pipeline who've helped to make, you know, this new athletic complex, the renewal of it, a reality. And that will be on October 18th. That's the night of our homecoming. We figure we're going to have a very big crowd for that game, and we put it in October because we wanted to absolutely make sure this was going to be done by then.
But we beat it.
Yes, yes, we did. And so those invitations actually are going to be going to members of the school committee, town council, and other legislative officials up the pipeline. for that evening. We're going to have, you know, a quick 10-minute ceremony in front of the fans just before the game begins on that night. So looking forward to that too.
All right, thank you. So next, I'm going to turn things over to Joe, our student representative, and Ann. Just for the members, they had mentioned that they wanted to talk to us a little bit about how they see their part on our school committee. And I know Mr. Jones over the years has mentioned to various student representatives that have been here before that we very much want to hear your input. And I really appreciated you taking the initiative to come to us and say, you know, can we have a little short block of time to actually talk directly to you? Because that's really kind of what you've been asking the student representatives to do for quite a while. And as I've mentioned to you before, we're happy to hear from you guys on any issues that you may want to bring up over the year. We just need to know in advance so that we can have it on our agenda in time for it to be published and adequately complying with the Open Meetings Act. Since we've now done that, I'll turn things over to you.
All right, okay. So first off, you're welcome, Mr. Jones. So I'd just like to start, for those of you who do not know, my name's Joe Vento. I'm the chairman of the student union. This is my second year as chairman, and this is my third year on the school committee.
I'm Annie Etchels. This is my third year in the student union. I'm the vice chairman, I think is the official term.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So the purpose for tonight's report, I think, is to just establish what student union is and briefly touch on some of our goals, which were determined in our first two meetings, which were last Thursday and the Thursday before that. So the student union at North Kingstown High School establishes an official line of communication between students, teachers, and administrators. We meet with administrators at the school about 3 to 4 times a year. We have meetings with students somewhere in the realm of like 10 to 12 times a year. And we meet in Mr. Mooney, his classroom. He's a history department teacher. We're very thankful that he's taken on this initiative and hosting the student union. So some of the goals that we formed in our first couple of meetings, and I'll just list them briefly, for the 2019-2020 school year, are advocating for a fair cell phone policy, recycling at the school, recycling awareness 2, reliable Wi-Fi, and effective school safety measures. And those are just a couple. And we just want to make sure that our organization exists to give students a voice that should ideally be listened to, and in addition to advocate for policies that enhance student life at NKHS and across the district, depending on what topic we're pursuing. Do you have anything to add? All right. So we just want to thank the school committee for allowing this report to go through. And in the future, I think you can expect several more reports that might be a little bit comprehensive on some of these policies and other goals we have throughout the year. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks. Look forward to hearing from you as time goes on.
I have a question.
Yes, Mr.
Sure.
Jones.
So, we have such a short agenda. No. So I'm just kind of curious the process for how you formulated these goals and how many students were present at your meeting.
Yeah.
You know, so you just
Yeah,
briefly take us
so
through
at our
the
first
process.
meeting, we had, I think it was 23 people in total, and then our second meeting, it was 27 people. These consisted of sophomores, juniors, and seniors. We do take attendance at every meeting, just to make sure. We want to make sure that our attendance is high, and we want to track that. And we basically asked students to raise their hand and list a goal that they think might be worth pursuing for the year. And then in total, we took a vote. Each person had 3 votes, and they voted for the initiatives that were listed. I think I listed 8, and I think 4 or 5 became priorities. And so these are just a couple. In years past, we've had goals come up throughout the year, and there's definitely different urgencies for different goals. But these are just the ones that we have to start the year. I can assure you there's going to be new ones throughout the year.
So, are you now going to tease out sort of metrics or specific things underneath those goals that you're
Yeah.
going to try and achieve, and then how you're going to assess your success in those?
Right. So as the year goes on, we're going to meet with our administration at the high school, and I think one of those meetings is coming up at the end of the first quarter. We're going to sit down with the administration and lay out our goals and discuss comprehensively some of these goals that we have, what's in place now, what sort of policy changes we'd like to see, and hopefully try and reach an agreement with them.
Because I think it would be good after you do that to sort of submit it back
Mm-hmm.
to us, and
Okay.
then sometime in, April or May or June, whatever, just come back and tell us how you think you did
All right.
on those.
Sounds good.
My only final question is,
Yeah.
so it seems like there's a little bit of self-selection in terms of it's a club. It's technically a club, right?
Right.
So is there thought of a more formalized structure where, whether it's from advisories or the classes, a more formal structure to student governance as
Mhm.
opposed to sort of, it's a good thing your self-selection would indicate interest, but, but there's not a lot of skin in the game
Hmm.
to dropping out either.
Right. So I think one of the benefits of having it as we do now is that it makes it simple for students to come in and come out, and I think that's an asset, actually. I do agree that we should really improve our voice and advocate for change a little bit more than we have been in the past. And I agree that I think that increasing the pace at which we work might help too. So while I see that potentially, I guess, increasing the legitimacy of the club is definitely beneficial, I think the way that we have it now allows for students who are passionate to come forward, and I don't really see a problem with that right now. But if you have an idea or proposal, I'd be happy to.
And my final question simply be, so once you sort of think, how do you plan on disseminating your goals to the larger student body?
So we have social media, we do have a website, and we're going to contact the person who runs the high school website. We're going the high school website and ask our new website, which we just released this year, to be posted on that North Kingstown High School website. We did get a comment box where students can go onto the high school website, go under the student tab, click the North Kingstown High School Student Union comment box where they can, through a Google form, list a request or a priority that they have and what student union should be advocating for. In addition to that, we want to put this website on. We also have a Instagram, which we use to convey information to the student body at large.
Also, to go back to your second question, I think that's one of the things that sets us apart from something like student council, which is more like the traditional, like you elect people that are going to like run your student body, whereas student union, one of the benefits of it is that it's very open, and if you want to be committed, you can be, but also if you're only passionate about a few choice topics, you can come in and voice your opinion on those and kind of be done with it, because anyone is invited to come to any of our meetings.
It seems to me too, maybe some cross-fertilization, like, trying to think of all the democracy projects,
Mhm.
and invariably recycling. Someone's doing recycling,
Yeah.
someone, I don't know, might be doing
There are
what,
a
right?
couple that are carried
Maybe
through
tap
every year.
in- Right, tap into, different venues in the high school where
Yeah.
students who may not know you have this as a thing, but are gonna be
I agree.
picking up on
Yeah.
that anyways.
Yeah. We want to do a better job, definitely, conveying what we're working on, some of the misconceptions around policy, some of the things we're advocating for, and some of the things we've gotten done in the past, so students know, okay, this is something that really does exist, or this is something that has been changed recently.
Excellent, thank you.
Thank you again.
No problem.
Any other questions? Okay. Next item on our agenda is citizens' comments. Anybody like to speak?
I was just gonna tell them though, when I was in high school, the head of our student council was Jack Reed. So keep up the good work.
That's a high bar to reach, but good luck. And next, we have routine items. If I could have a motion to seal the executive session minutes of September 24th, 2019, this evening.
So moved.
Have a motion, Ms. Hoskins.
Second.
Second, Mr. Jones. All those in favor? Aye. And I can, that's passed unanimously, I can disclose that no votes were taken in this evening's executive session. Anyone have any items from the consent agenda that they would like to exempt? Hearing none, I would ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
I have a motion, Ms. Hoskins.
Second.
Second, Mr. Jones. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Next are our school committee goals. So if I could start with a motion to approve item E1.
So moved.
I have a motion
Second.
and a second. So we had our goals meeting last week. It's a very informal meeting. It's an open meeting, but an informal meeting where the school committee gets around a table in a little different format than we usually do here, and sort of brainstorm on what we want the district and the superintendent to work on over the next year. The document before you is what we had come up with, and I think it is a good place to start. We will revisit towards the end of the year and see how those goals have progressed. Any other comments on that?
Just a couple quick ones.
Mhm.
So, thanks to the superintendent for putting these together and all the input we got in that aspect. I would say to our students, ultimately our goals, at least in part, a big part, are about improving your learning, your education. So you should take some of these back and see if any maybe relate in a way that interests you or your members, and get feedback on that. And then a small thing, we had talked about our goals, which isn't captured in here, but doing some professional development, and if you want to be included in that chain.
Sure.
We talked about a 1 or 2 hour, deep dive into who knows what, but it could be special education, it might
Yeah, that'd
be
be great.
BICAS scores, UCOA, we don't know. We were
Yeah.
gonna send out sort of a, as long as we don't violate anything, but an interest form to
Sure.
see what things, and then see if we can work that, so if you'd like
Yeah.
to be included.
We will certainly.
No, that's great. I was sorry to miss this meeting because we're about to have one as well. And it's never completely clear how that's all going to
So
go.
if you see goofy looking like doodle poll, that's what it's
Yes.
gonna be
Okay.
about, seeing what topics generate the most interest to schedule some kind of professional development for us.
Great, thank you.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Moving on to unfinished business. Anything on the 2018-19 school budget?
No,
2019-20 school budget?
no,
CIP existing bond, future bond?
just the update.
So, as I mentioned earlier, so we are at the point right now where the field is complete. There's been inspection today, correct?
Yeah, the shock pad was tested today, so that's all set underneath,
And
that's
so-
no problem.
As I mentioned, we were able to be there. We've been to the field a number of times this week to look at things progressing. There's been a ton of work in the last couple of weeks
The weekend, yeah.
to finish up.
Last
And,
week.
thankfully, the weather's been really good. The field looks tremendous, and there is a scoreboard in delivery right now. The posts are all ready to go, and so our hope and our expectation is that that will be in use in Friday's game as well.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, and the field is marked for multiple sports, so we're really at a point right now where, soccer and field hockey and all of the fall sports can access the field, as well as obviously a number of other, school functions and community functions. So, we're at a good place right now.
All right, thank you very much. Nothing under new business. In your reports, there's a disposal notification and the August year-to-date financial reports. Any questions on those?
Throwing away 40 dictionaries.
What's
Old
that?
words, Bob,
Yes.
old words.
What's a dictionary?
And if there were no other comments, we've reached the end of our agenda. I would ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
A motion
Second.
and a
Sorry.
second. All those in favor? Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you very much for coming.